today, and I'm so proud and so honored to have all you listening to us today right here on Off the Top Rope Radio. So without further ado, I want to get to my first guest. He's somebody who I'm really glad to have each and every week. He follows the current business quite extensively. He's really smart and a really good guy to boot. He's my buddy Doug McDonald, also affectionately known as Dougy Fresh from WrestlingRumors.net. He is the senior editor, joining us from his big mansion in South Carolina. How you doing, Dougy Fresh?
What's happening, sir?
How you been, man? You doing all right?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Missed talking last week. Excited to do it this week. I know my buddy Frank's going to be on with you next week, so I'm going to miss you again. And ready to talk tonight. Talk about payback.
Seems like a lot of people miss me, but eventually they do hit me. So I mean, you'll get your turn. Don't worry about that. But yeah, it's good to have you back on the air this time now, Doug. And I know there's a lot of things going on with your day today, as well as we have an action-packed show here on Off the Top Rope Radio with some of the great interviews I mentioned earlier in the program, plus payback in my old stomping grounds in the Allstate Arena. I've seen many shows there. I remember the '80s quite well, at least some of it, and all the great wrestling cards that took place back when it was the Rosemont Horizon. Payback is going to be there this coming Sunday. Should be one hell of a pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to it. Let's run it down right from the beginning. I want you to go ahead and take the reins on this one and go wherever you want to start, my friend.
Well, let's start with the atrocity that is the kickoff match.
Okay.
Which is the mask versus hair match.
I got to interrupt you for one second.
Frito and Hornswoggle.
I know you don't like these guys, but I'm going to let you go ahead and talk. It's freedom of speech, baby. Go ahead.
No, the thing is, the WLC match was entertaining.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't a match.
Right.
It was entertaining.
Yes.
This one's going to be less entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
We now know the sole purpose of why Hornswoggle's been growing his hair out.
Yeah. Exactly.
But what bothered me, and I'll say this about the entire payback card. The pay-per-view should be great.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to predict what's going to happen at this thing, which is always good.
Mm-hmm.
But the build, the last 4 weeks, the build towards it has been terrible. And things like the fact that Monday night ratings were the lowest that they've been all year, lowest that they've been unopposed to Monday Night Football since 1997, because it was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And just the build to this match, this throwaway kickoff match, awful. Hornswoggle ripped El Torito's tail off Monday night and tried to act like it was his real tail.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, he's wearing a mask. Shouldn't that be his head?
Well, hey, you know what?
Shouldn't it be a head versus hair match?
If people pull something on my body that usually sticks out, I'm going to be probably in pain too. So who knows? I mean, everybody feels pain differently, Doug. I mean, obviously, you could tell he was quite upset. He was in the training room there, and the Tennessee Volunteers were signing the back, and Los Matadores. He must have been in quite pain, man. You don't know.
Anyway, Torito goes over, shaves Hornswoggle's hair off.
Yeah, well, it's comedy. You know what? I appreciate the smaller gentlemen like this in there who are going to try their best to entertain. And, there are a few people out there who do like this, and I know that there is a place and a spot for it. Maybe the kickoff night is, or I say a kickoff start, the kick start, whatever you want to call the dang thing. This is probably the best place for it. It kind of gets people involved and whatever else. And like you said, we all know why Hornswoggle's been growing his hair, because this is the big payoff, and we'll see it get chopped off. How it's going to happen, I don't know. Will it be as good as when Mr. McMahon lost his hair to Donald Trump with the Umaga? I don't know, but it should be fun. Let's just leave it at that. So
Torito goes over.
Okay, good enough for me there. Now, going on to the actual pay-per-view, I'm kind of looking forward to this one because I'm going to be honest with you. I've really been enjoying Raw in the last couple of weeks for kind of an unlikely reason, and I don't say this in a bad way. It's just that I really like it when wrestlers step up. I like it when they bring something to the table and really kind of expand their character, expand their gimmicks and everything else. I really have been enjoying what Alicia Fox has been doing on Raw lately. I love the new attitude. I love the spunkiness and kind of the over-the-top antics, grabbing JBL's hat, grabbing the crown of Jerry the King Lawler. I wish she would have smacked Michael Cole around a little bit. That didn't happen. But just the antics of Alicia Fox has really propelled her into a spotlight there that has really made this Divas Championship match, and maybe just the whole realm of the category of the Divas, it's kind of made it more interesting. And I really hope that Alicia Fox wins, in my opinion, at Payback, because I could really see her going on and carrying the Ladies Championship, the Divas Championship, and really making something out of it, and maybe kind of elevating that championship to maybe a new status with a little comedy, a little bit of drama, a little bit of craziness. I like it. I don't know about you, but I like it.
I like what she's done to make herself relevant.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that this is a coin flip as who's going to win the match is because they're pushing her now because she's actually made herself relevant.
Yeah.
For me, I have to go with Paige, though, because she's young. She's only had the title for about a month.
Right.
If they really want to ruin her push, then they'll take the title off of her. If they want to really give Paige the strength that she needs to be a huge success, then they keep the title on her.
Right.
I'm going to pick Paige.
Well, the thing is, too, is if you look at what the Ladies' Championship, the Divas Championship, has done over the last year or so, it's been very consistent. We've seen AJ Lee, the former champion, hold on to that belt for quite a long time, and it really added some relevancy to the Divas Championship. It really kind of made it, sparkle, in my opinion. Back in the days when the IC Championship was held by the Honky Tonk Man for 50-something weeks and whatnot, and it just kind of has added some nice relevancy to me. However, I don't know if Paige is really the answer right now. I could see Alicia Fox winning this, holding it for a while, and then having Paige come back and winning it again. That'd make her a two-time champion, maybe have a big match again at the next pay-per-view. I don't know, but you're going to pick Paige on this one. I'm going to go the underdog, the excitement factor. I'm going to go with Alicia Fox on this.
I think the money is Paige having the title when AJ Lee comes back next month.
Well, that could be, yes. Yeah. That could be. I agree with you there. That you may have a good point there, but I'm going to still stick with Alicia Fox. And I'll tell you something. She's aptly named. She is such a fox, man. I think she's so beautiful. And she just, and she can wrestle. And like I said, I just love, when I first saw her go out there and grab JBL's hat and then the crown and doing her things and splashing Coke on herself, doing the things she did overseas in Europe, it was fantastic. I liked it. I thought it was really good. It was funny. It was energetic. It was new. So I kind of like this one. So we differ on this one. Let's just say that. So now let's move on to the next match, one that I'm looking forward to because, you and I kind of both thought once we saw Sheamus win the U.S. title that he may have been turning a corner and possibly going heel, becoming a rule breaker, changing his wrestling style, maybe not acknowledging the fans so much. But it's been kind of the opposite. He's still been going out there and really becoming a big baby face. Cesaro still playing up the good heel character that he is right now at Paul Heyman. And this match for the United States Championship, Cesaro and Sheamus, could this be a short-lived run for Sheamus with a way of putting on Cesaro and then eventually getting its big payoff? Or could we see maybe Sheamus hang on this for a while and having Cesaro just kind of keep chasing the dream, so to speak?
Well, Cesaro's dream is not the U.S. title.
True.
He's already held it, and he wants the WWE World Heavyweight title. And as you were saying with the Sheamus heel turn, don't get impatient.
Yeah.
Have some patience, because it may actually happen Sunday.
Right, and it hasn't happened up to now, yeah.
Right, so Sheamus, this is not going to be a clean finish. There's no way.
No.
Cesaro can't lose clean, and Sheamus is not going to lose the title.
Yes.
So I'm going to say Sheamus via DQ, or Paul Heyman does a mistake and costs Cesaro the match, and that way tensions start building between Cesaro and Heyman at the same time. If not, then Sheamus begins his heel turn and gets qualified.
Yeah, I could see the way.
Either way.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think that if you look at Sheamus right now, I mean, obviously he still has a lot of fan support. A lot of people still like him. And, the guy's quick. I mean, for a big, strong, tall guy like this, he's so fast with that boot to the face. And, you talk about Cesaro just being strong as a steel bolt of lightning, and the guy can go like crazy. I'm looking forward to this match very much because we saw some teasing on SmackDown back and forth, the interference and whatnot, and the run-ins and everything else. So it's been kind of tit for tat. It's kind of like even up the series, so to speak, on who's going to attack who during one of their matches. Now it comes down to the big payoff, the big payback, as it's so aptly named as well. I just, you know what? I'm going to throw a coin up in the air on this one, and I did it earlier, just a kind of idea. But I still think that we're going to still see Sheamus walk out with the WWE U.S. Championship.
Yes, he does.
Okay, we both agree on that one, but I love Cesaro. There's no doubt about that one. So, and I know the one that you're probably looking forward to the most, one of your favorite guys, if not your favorite wrestler on the whole roster right now, and rightfully so if he is, because, boy, he's just making it all happen out there right now. He's sadistic, he's cunning, he's great, he's smart inside the ring, he's very good at what he does in many different levels. That is Bray Wyatt, a last man standing match taking on John Cena. This feud's been going on, and I'm glad. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to eventually be the big payoff match, the big coup de grace, I I've always said, and I do like this one. I'm just thinking that probably John Cena is going to win this one. I think now we've already seen them tied up at 1 here with pay-per-view wins. I just think it makes more sense to see John Cena win this one. And I don't know if John Cena's popularity is slipping a heck of a lot, because I did see some people who are still staying true to him, and I do think that obviously they're keeping in that focus. They're doing a lot of commercials with him, always showing what he does for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. They're really keeping him in the spotlight as a true babyface fan favorite, and it's working. Bray Wyatt has been getting some more boos here lately since WrestleMania due to his, characteristics and whatever else. I'm going with John Cena on this one.
I am going to go no contest.
Okay.
I think this feud's going to continue, and there's no way this feud can continue if there's one solid victor in a last man standing match, in the rubber match. It can't end with Cena being the victor or Wyatt being the victor. There has to be some crazy finish. We saw that last year at Extreme Rules with John Cena and Ryback.
Right.
In a last man standing match. They both went through the lights, and neither one of them won. I think it's got to be the same deal here. If you're going to carry this feud on, which I know that they're planning on doing, then there can't be a solid. It has to be a schmoz. So I'm going to say no contest.
Okay. I like your thinking, but I also want to go back to one of the last man standing matches that John Cena's had. If you go back in history, I remember the one he had with Batista where he duct taped his legs to the ring. You remember that one, I'm sure. And he could not get up for the 10 count. So I'm thinking maybe they go back and replay a piece of history here and have something involved to where, it looks like John Cena's cheating a bit, maybe not playing by the rules, because here's my thing. The reason why I say John Cena in this match is because I really believe that he has to step it up with his wrestling style. He can't go out there with the 5 moves he's talked about and he's famous for. He's really got to bring it up and really show it. And he's got to show that he's frustrated as hell with Bray Wyatt, embarrassing him, getting into his mind. The psychology factor is going on. They really need to have a good physical, hard-fought match. And I don't like the no contest thing. I think it could happen, but I would like to see something happen where there's some sort of, duct taping or handcuffs or something, because to me, there has to be a clear-cut victory in this, and that's where I think John Cena will turn it up, make it happen, and you'll see history repeat itself in his last man standing match against Bray Wyatt.
All right, let's keep going. We got the Dragon about to come on.
Yeah, you got to get going too. I know pretty soon, don't you? You got a lot of things on your plate today.
Takeover's rolling right now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, I won't keep you much longer because I know you got things to do. But let's talk about a couple more matches here. The Intercontinental Championship. Rob Van Dam and Bad News Barrett. I love Bad News Barrett's attitude here lately, and Rob Van Dam's looked consistently strong on the air. Who do you like in this one?
Barrett's not losing the title.
No, I don't think so either. He's just got too much to build on right now, and I like that. Taking nothing away from RVD. He's still a great talent. He can do a lot of things in there. We saw the big kick to the face, the sweet chin music the other night on Raw. Good stuff. Okay, last match here before we go. The Shield versus Evolution no-holds-barred elimination match. We saw the Shield win at the last one, Extreme Rules, and I think that probably this might be the breakup that we might finally see between Evolution, with Dave Bautista finally possibly taking some time off or leaving or whatever else. I still got to say the Shield are riding high. They got to win this match.
Yeah, it's a toss-up, honestly, because if they want to keep the Shield, there's been rumors of Evolution pulling a guy in to replace Batista. Batista's going to leave after Raw on Monday. So they've talked about keeping this feud going so they can get to the Triple H Roman Reigns SummerSlam match, but I'm the same kind of way. I think the Shield, because they've also teased the Shield split very, very soon.
Right.
And for me, I think the Shield goes over, and it's got to be with Roman Reigns getting the victory if that's the case. Like Roman Reigns is the last man standing after, I would even say, Rollins and Ambrose get eliminated, and it's Reigns against 3, and he eliminates all 3.
Wow. Oh, predictions there. I like that.
It's got to be something strong like that. Otherwise, it's just not going to matter. I can also see Roman Reigns eliminating Orton and Batista, and then Triple H pinning Roman Reigns to build towards Triple H Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. But if I'm tossing a coin, I gotta say Shield.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. We are looking at Roman Reigns and Triple H somewhere down the road, most likely SummerSlam. That's been kind of the thought-out process here of what they're going to do. And if that's the case, then this makes perfect sense to have something like this happen, especially if you look back at the last pay-per-view and you saw the Shield win in that particular match. So, yeah, anything can happen. I think this is going to be a good pay-per-view. I'm really looking forward to it. There's about 3 or 4 excellent matches on this card that I think they can really push and really kind of keep the fans interested. There could be a title change here or there to make it interesting. There could be some really developing situations at the end with the main event. We'll know next week. We'll have actually my good buddy Frank Manzo on next week, and we'll talk more about that. So I know you got to run. We got Ricky the Dragon Steamboat coming on. We got B. Brian Blair. It's always a pleasure to have you on here, Doug. And if you guys got to get out there and check out WrestlingRumors.net, it's one of the greatest websites out there. Check it out and get all your information and news from my good buddy Doug McDonald. You have a good night, man.
Thank you, sir. You too. NXT TakeOver. What?
All right, Doug McDonald, he's got a lot of stuff going on, he said, tonight, and I know that we got a lot of things going on, and we appreciate Doug's comments there. You know, and I like some of the things that he said there. There's a lot of interesting moves that they can do with this pay-per-view. I mean, coming from the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois, I mean, don't expect to see CM Punk out there. There's been a lot of reports about him being totally fine and happy with what he's been doing. As a matter of fact, he tweeted out saying that he's been playing wiffle ball with Bill Murray and going to Blackhawks games. That lucky guy. Go Hawks, baby. Yeah, let's go win tomorrow night. Anyway, and there's a lot of things going on. So obviously, if you look at the picture here, the Allstate Arena, a pay-per-view with this many people and this many good matches on the card, I mean, it's pretty good stacked pay-per-view. I mean, we talked about it. The main event that we just mentioned a moment ago, I like the IC Championship match between Rob Van Dam and Bad News Barrett. I think that should be very good. Sheamus and Cesaro should be tremendous. The last man standing match, if you look at what John Cena and Bray Wyatt have been doing in the last few weeks here, even including WrestleMania, they've been tearing it up, man. It's been a very interesting concept and program that they've been doing on the on the TV shows after the pay-per-views, on Raw and everything else. I do like it. I like it a lot. Bray Wyatt's character is tremendous, and you talk about a guy who is really focused on making his character and his characteristics and his wrestling style just work for him to a tremendous amount, and that is, of course, Mr. Bray Wyatt. And taking nothing away from John Cena, because like I said, when John Cena wants to turn it up a notch, he can do it, and I expect nothing less than that to happen in this match coming up on Sunday. Paige Alicia Fox for the Divas Championship. We're going to see the Kickstart Your Night payback kickoff, that is, Hornswoggle and El Torito. Mask versus Hair. Yeah, I think Hornswoggle is going to be a little bit riding the Curly from the Three Stooges bandwagon here. I think he's going to be bald, baby. And that should be fun to see what's going to happen afterwards. Maybe the next night on Raw, him coming out. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I don't think it's going to be 3.5 band anymore. It's going to be a 3-man band once again. I do predict that. So, listen, we're going to come back here in a moment or two. We've got a great show for you. We're just starting out. We've got to talk about the Cauliflower Alley Club taking place next week in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Gold Coast Hotel should be a tremendous time like it is each and every year. It's going to be a good one. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat joining me in a few moments here. Also, B. Brian Blair to close out the show. Do not go away. We're coming right back to Off the Top Rope right here on KQCK.com. We'll see you in a minute.
Are you having plumbing or septic problems? No worries. Call Cartwright's Queen Creek Plumbing and Septic Service. Been in the Valley since 1996. Family owned and operated. Proudly serving East Valley and surrounding areas. With a full range of services from drain cleaning, septic tank pumping, general maintenance and repairs, inspections for the sale of your home. They provide excellent and courteous service for all your plumbing and septic needs. We're not satisfied till you are satisfied. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Call today. Cartwright's Queen Creek Plumbing and Septic Service. Contact Denise at 480-987.
The other one was a little bit over 2 hours, so there's 3, 22, so 25. So I don't know. I've probably been up for about 35, 40 hours, and then I had to go do a 12 o'clock photo shoot.
Oh, my God. That's just incredible. I tell you what, you are the world traveler when it comes to professional wrestling, and it's amazing that you look at how so many hours you've spent on the road in your career when you were wrestling actively, but now doing what you do at the WWE, I mean, it seems like it's just kind of reliving those days again, and it's got to be a little bit crazy trying to get in and out of those planes and time zones and getting reacclimated to what you do in everyday life and trying to have the family and everything else. It must be nuts.
Well, it does test. God, I've been doing it for so long. Is it all right if I call you Shankster?
Of course. I love it when you call me the Shankster.
right. Coming this November, I will celebrate 40 years of being affiliated with the wrestling.
Wow.
business.
40 years.
This coming November. It was 1974 in November when I went to Vern Gagne's camp up in Minnesota.
Man, that is incredible.
So, I guess you know, I probably have spent more than 2/3 of my adult life in different time zones.
Man, you know, and you talk about 40 years in the business, you know, and remember, you started out wrestling when you were 6 years old. So, I mean, that's incredible, you know. I mean, no, I'm kidding, of course. But regardless, I mean, you know, to be involved in this business for so many years like that, and you know, so many people can be in that business for so long, but maybe not even have half the resume that you have. And I know you've always said you've always been very lucky and very appreciative of what you've obtained and what you've accomplished in this fine business. And I know each and every time we have you on the air, you talk about that. You've had so many great memories and great matches and met so many wonderful people and fans and whatnot. And I know that you say it every time you come on here. I know it rings true.
Well, you know, and I'll say it again. A lot of times, the guys will ask me, says, "God, how do you become a main event?" And I said, "You will get the answer from the fans, because it's the fans that will play a major part on elevating you through your career."
Right on.
Now, how you do it is up to you, but your answer will always come from the fans. And I'll give you a real easy example.
Okay.
Our current world champion, and
Daniel Bryan.
A simple 3-letter word. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Catapulted him to the #1 spot.
Yeah. Yes, it did. Yes.
Yeah, it did.
Yes.
Now, he's a guy that probably stands, what, maybe 5'9"?
Probably, if that, yeah.
Yeah, weighs maybe 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Got a beard and scraggly hair.
Yeah, I think the beard is about 20 pounds of that. So, I mean, yeah, that's
he might weigh $190 if you got a haircut and shaved.
That's true.
But it was his promos, and it was, you know, his the way the fans could, you know, associate themselves with him, relate with him, however you want to say it. But the next thing you know, he's on top.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah, you know, he's such a champion that people can relate to because you talked about it. 5'9", 200 pounds. I mean, that's probably the average size of a average wrestling fan. And when you look at somebody who they can relate to and really appreciate his style, I mean, I think that really goes a long way. I mean, I know some people just started growing beards just because they wanted to show their appreciation to Daniel Bryan and be like him and everything else. Matter of fact, I swear to God, just before coming here, I stopped at the store to get some gasoline, and a guy walked in with a Fear the Beard t-shirt. I kid you not. I was like, man, these things are everywhere. It's amazing. And talk about being over and being consistently over with the fans. And like you said a minute ago, how you do it and how you tweak it and how you make it happen is up to you. And he ran with it, and he did a great job. He's a great champion.
Yeah, and now don't get me wrong. You know, he comes from the Indies, and I know that man has paid his dues. You know, traveling night to night to small shows, sleeping in his car, and so forth and so on.
Right.
And now he's on top of the world.
Right on. Yeah, and the WWE, that is where you want to be, the top of the world, because we talk about World Wrestling Entertainment, the premier wrestling company in the world, and great people are made from that. You've had the Intercontinental Championship there, and you've obviously had so many fantastic matches, and still, to my opinion, the greatest WrestleMania match, still to me, of all time, and I'm not kidding you, not because you're just on the air, but I still say it to this day, still the greatest Intercontinental Championship match and match of all time, in my opinion, on WrestleMania was WrestleMania 3, March 29th, 1987, Pontiac Silverdome, which is soon to be no more. They're tearing it down. But you and the Macho Man, Randy Savage, one of my favorites of all time. And we've talked about that match on the air, on the telephone, at the Color for LA Club, and you talked about how precise it was and how just perfect it was. And, again, there's a good example. Here's two guys who were not the main event at WrestleMania 3. You had a high-profile match for the IC Championship, but again, you made it what you had to do and what you thought you needed to do to make it a great match, and it was tremendous.
Well, yeah, Brian, thank you. You know, that match is mentioned to me a lot, all the time, even in just going in and out of local stores here in St. Pete.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's especially, you know, just coming back from New Orleans at WrestleMania while I was down there doing some guest appearances for the company and so forth. All the fans, they just keep bringing it up.
Nice.
You know, we're looking at what, 27 years ago.
Yeah.
That match.
Yeah. Well, it's like a fine wine, you know. It just keeps appreciating in value and its likefulness towards everybody out there. I mean, you know, there's some wrestling fans today who may not even know that WrestleMania 3, you know, what the matches were. I could probably recite every single match on the card in order. But regardless, when you talk about something like that, it stood the test of time. And it's one of my favorite matches of all time. And you built up such an excellent storyline to that. Him injuring you with the bell, and just basically beating the crap out of you, you disappearing for a while, you know, going through your situation. You had to learn to do this and learn to do that and everything else, and had to talk again and whatnot. I mean, it was magical. And then the big payoff match at WrestleMania, that's a true example of what you said a minute ago with Daniel Bryan, getting something and running with it and making it what it was. And that's what that was, a great match.
Well,
great.
We knew the scope of that pay-per-view was going to be bigger than anything that the company had done.
Yep.
The Silver Dome and the buyer rate coming in with the pay-per-views, and I've said it 100 times, and I'll say it again, that, you know, what really sold that show was the big match between the Hulkster and Andre.
Without a doubt.
But given the opportunity, we knew that we could go out there and hopefully, with our fingers crossed and some hard work, we could steal the show. And you know, then it just snowballed after that. You know, with the number of people that recognized our work.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. You know, and you go back to the days, you know, you and Paul Jones and Jay Youngblood and all that and everything else where your history first started. You know, that was 10 years prior to that, or 10 or 15 years prior to that. And then after that, of course, WCW having some fantastic stuff. I'll never forget one of the greatest things that I saw in WCW just about 5 years after that is when you came out with Dustin Rhodes as a surprise manager wearing the big dragon mask, and everybody's like, who is this guy? You know, and then you pulled it off, and I'll just never forget Arn Anderson's face looking over and going, "Not Ricky Steamboat." I mean, it was. You know, I love it.
It's funny you mentioned that match. I came out to be Dustin's tag team partner.
Yep.
I was his mystery partner.
Yep.
And who was it? It was Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko.
Larry Zbyszko.
Yep.
The Cruncher.
And Arn always tells me that. He said when you came out and popped that dragon's head off, and I knew the camera was going to give a shot at me, and I mouthed it. It's like, oh no, it's Ricky Steamboat. But I'll tell you this. You know what Arn tells me, and I never knew this until years later. Probably 3 or 4 years ago, he told me this.
Okay.
And that is Larry Zbyszko and Arn Anderson nicknamed him Granite Man.
Granite Man?
And because he just liked to stand around a lot.
Okay.
You know, like a stone statue of granite.
Right.
So Zbyszko, when the crowd reaction, we got the crowd reaction when I popped off the dragon head.
Yep.
Zbyszko looked over at Arn and said, "Oh my God, what are we going to do now, Arn?" It's Ricky Steamboat. Oh.
Yeah, that was fantastic. You know, I got to admit, you know, that was 22 years ago or so at least, and you know, to look back at that match, when I saw you coming out, this is on a Clash of Champions show, and I saw you guys coming out, I'm sitting there going, I really just could not remember and think that it was you, because if I'm not mistaken, I think that was that early 92 or late 91? I think it was late 91, wasn't it? I think, yeah.
It was late 91.
That's right, because you had just finished up another tour in the WWE at the time, and I think you worked a pay-per-view at SummerSlam, if I'm not mistaken, with Davey Boy and I think Kerry Von Erich, if I'm not mistaken, and then you came over a couple months later. So, you know, you were off the air for a couple of months, and then out of nowhere, bam, there you came with that mask. And I really didn't know. And it was kind of funny because the announcers were like, well, it looks with the mask, it could be some great Japanese superstar with the reptile mask, and I'm sitting there going,
Yeah.
And then when you bent down and you kind of pulled that mask, I saw your face, and I'm going, oh my God, did I just see Steamer? And all of a sudden, bam, you came up, and you gotta tell me that must have been a hell of a rush for you as well to have pulled that mask off and just watch that crowd go apeshit. That had to have been so cool.
Well, once again, I'll reiterate, and the fans will tell you, because you get a number of moments like that in your career, and those were one of my numbered moments with the crowd reaction. It was such an approval roar that I was Dustin's partner.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was just a couple months earlier. I was with the other company and came to WC, a big surprise thing.
Yeah.
Everything was held under wraps. Everything was quiet. Everything was hush hush.
Yep.
Kayfabe and all that.
Yeah.
And, and it was really a feel good moment.
Now
once again, you gotta thank those fans.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, that's half the battle right there. Now, was Barry Windham, was he actually really hurt in that, or was that something they wrote into a storyline so you can come in and debut and do that?
I know Barry's been hurt a few times.
Yeah.
And he's had to take time off. But God, Brian, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I can't recall the situation. I know that the two of them were tagged up.
Yeah. Well, they did the angle where he was getting out of a car and he had his hand by the door, and the enforcer slammed his hand into the door, and that's how he had the cat. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I didn't know if he was actually hurt or not, if it was a shoot or not or whatever. But regardless, the way it worked out. And then for you guys to win the tag team championships that night made it even so much better, because I thought to myself, there's no way in God's green earth, to quote the Mr. Great Harley Race here, is that there's no way in God's green earth that they could actually have you come out, get that big of a pop, have that fantastic of a match, and then not have you walk away with the tag team belts. I mean, I just thought it's just too much perfect of that night. And the Clash of the Champions shows were just so tremendous. I loved them all, man. And free TV, are you kidding me? Stuff like that, boy, you'll never see that again.
Yeah. Well, if you look at it this way, that's a good way to look at it. But also, if knowing Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko, they could have pulled a fast one on us and went home with the championship, which would then justify a pretty strong rematch. So, but I think they wanted to end everything on a very high and good note, and do the unsuspected, and that was to win the championship.
Absolutely.
And that was when I know to be the singles champion, the world champion, had a lot of merit to it and a lot of clout, but those tag belts also at that time. In the wrestling business, those tag belts didn't mean a whole lot also.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. Yeah. So many great teams were, passing them off back and forth even just a few years prior, the Midnight Express and the Freebirds and the Rock and Roll Express, then Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, and whatever else. And, it's incredible. And, we can sit here and talk about your career forever. We've done it for a couple times here on the show. I want to have you on again, somewhere down the road, maybe when the fall approaches. And I just like to have a whole time. What I'd like to do with you the next time we have you on, Rick, is I would like to go ahead, and I was thinking about this, with you now celebrating 40 years in the business coming up in November. What I want to do, and this is something I just thinking about as you were talking, because I sometimes multitask when I do the show. Since you said 40 years, what I want to do is I want to, in the next few months, I want to take some time, and I want to take a piece of paper, and I want to write down 40 names of people in this business that I know that you worked with, worked around, whatever, and I just want to have you on the show, and I want to do a 40 names with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and just, we'll dedicate the whole show to you. And just make it the whole hour, because I know at 40 names will take a while. And I just want to get your opinions on these people that I talk about, whatever else, and I just may come out of nowhere with some of these names and whatnot. Would you like to do that the next time we have you on the show?
Oh, that sounds like it would be fun.
Okay.
Let me say this.
Yes.
With some of the names, I may have a story behind it.
Yeah.
About the wrestler.
Sure.
some of the names, I may just give you a one word. You know, sometimes they say, all right, I'm going to say a word and just say the one word that comes to your mind.
Right.
And I may do that.
That's great.
And you know, we'll play with it, and you know, just it'll be off the cuff.
Yeah.
And you know, let's just, I don't want to know the names.
Oh, I'm not going to tell
Let's
you.
just make it like a let's just make it like an instant reaction.
Oh yeah.
You know, for me.
Oh yeah.
And we'll do that. That sounds like it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just thought about it. When you said 40 years, I'm like, you know, what can I do with this? And I'm like, boom, and this is perfect. And we'll do it prior to November because I like to do stuff, you know, in the fall, whatever else. There'll be some good things to talk about. And I think that'll be fun because I did that with Stan Hansen because, you know, Stan Hansen's been in this business for so many years. And I did something close to that, but not 40 names. And I know that I can find 40 names. And I know that, like you said, you may have a one-word answer, a one-sentence answer. You may have a story or two. And whatever it is, whatever it will be, I just think that'll be fun, and we'll dedicate the whole show, me and you, 60 minutes or so or whatever, and we'll just have a blast with it, man. I look forward to doing that. And I know we got to get cut here because we're running against the clock. I got B. Brian Blair coming on later as well. We're talking the Cauliflower Alley Club. But before we do go, Ricky, I'd like for you just to say, I know you will not be a part of the Cauliflower Alley Club this year, the 49th annual. Hopefully next year for the Big 5-0, you will be there. You better, or I'm going to have to drink that whole case of Coors Light by myself. But I want you just to say, what will you miss about this year? What would you like to say to all the great CAC people who are going to be there? Go ahead and give a word out because we plugged the show quite a bit here, and I know a lot of people are listening and want to hear what Ricky the Dragon Steamboat has to say about the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Well, you know, without a doubt, it is probably the best family reunion, and I'm talking about family as being that we all become family.
Right.
A group of guys and ladies that come together with, God, how do you add up how many years total with everybody that's there? And I know and I understand that each year it just grows and grows and grows and gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep.
It is so inspiring to see, you know, some of the guys that I may not have seen in 20 years, 25 years, and 30 years,
yeah.
40 years,
yeah.
And I run into them there.
I know.
At that time. And, God, there isn't enough time to tell all the stories that we could tell, or I could tell with some of the guys and the faces that I run into at Cauliflower Alley.
I know.
I've been to, I believe, oh, God, I'm going to say 4 or 5 of them.
At least.
4 or 5
yep.
That I've been there. I'm going to try and strategize right now and make the 50th. You know, I'll get with, what's his name, that runs it, Carl.
Well, you got Carl and you got Morgan Dollar.
Yeah. And I'll start strategizing that now to be sure to be there on the 50th.
Right on, brother. I look forward to that because, you know, I always look forward to seeing you because as soon as I see you, I just go up to you and you're like, hey, what's up, Shankster? You know, give me a hug. We give a hug. We talk for a few minutes and you're always on your way. And I know when that baloney blowout or that reunion rolls around and we always have a cold Coors Light together. And I got to tell you something. I don't know if you remember this or not, but last year you came up to me and we were sitting there talking, having a beer together. And you said, he goes, Shankster, he goes, have you worn that suit before here? And I said, no. I said, it's a new suit I got for the event here. He goes, yeah, that's a damn nice looking suit you got there, man. I like that. And I was like, hey, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat likes my suit. You know, I was like, all right, man. So, and we were probably the 2 best looking guys. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. I was like, that's like, yeah.
I do.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Hey, son of a gun, I do.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I meant it, too. You had a nice suit on, man.
Hey, you know what they say? Every girl's crazy about a sharp-dressed man. Well, at least I look good that night anyway. So, but,
hey.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is that when Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is in a room, it's amazing because, I mean, all the fans just, you know, flock to you. They remember the matches. They want to talk to you. They want to get an autograph and a picture, and you're always very accommodating. And as long as you're, you know, as long as the people out there are respectful and take the time to realize, hey, if Ricky and I are talking or Ricky and somebody else are talking, don't just butt in and start talking. Always show your respect. Even like when I go there and I see you and you and I are friends, if you're talking to somebody or whatever else, I wait. I don't sit there and go, hey, Ricky. You know, it's all about respect. It's about being a gentleman. It's about being a fan as well for some people. And if you guys are out there and you see people like Ricky or Sergeant Slaughter, all these guys who are going to be out there and whatnot, just take the time, show some respect, wait till they're done, approach them nicely, you know, and be a good person, and they'll be a good person back to you. I think that's all I can really say about the wrestling fans out there.
Well, that is what you said is just so true. But you do that in everyday life.
That's right. That's right.
You should carry that forward, pay it forward, and do that in everyday life.
Right on. I totally agree with you, man. You know what, Ricky? I wish we had a couple more hours to talk because we could sit here all night and gab, man. I'm going to get B. Brian Blair on the phone. We're going to talk about CAC, but it was an honor to have you on here. You're a good friend of mine.
Okay.
I always appreciate you answering my texts and my calls, and I'll give you a call here in the next week or so, maybe a couple weeks, whatever, and I can kind of fill you in what happened at the CAC, and I'll kind of give you the scoop and the rundown of what happened and whatnot, and we'll just talk as friends, okay?
All right, that sounds like a plan.
All
hey, tell the Brian, B. Brian that I said hey to him, okay?
You better believe I will. Absolutely, my friend. You got it. All right. Hey, safe travels to you, buddy, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ricky. All right. There you go. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat joining us there on Off the Top Rope Radio today. It's always a pleasure to have him on, and, unfortunately he can't be there for the event. All right, we're back here at Off the Top Rope Radio right here on good old KQCK.com. I'm glad I should say to everybody here. I've been so tongue-tied here this whole show. There's a lot of things going off the air and on the air and everything else. But we're glad to have you here. Good old Thursday, May 29th, the year 2014. Cauliflower Alley Club Week is upon us here next week in good old fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. The Gold Coast Hotel should be fantastic. All the great seminars, the award winners, we're going to talk about them here in a moment or two. And my good buddy's going to come on the phone here, B. Brian Blair, and we're going to talk all about the Cauliflower Alley Club and whatnot. And I'm glad to have him here. He's a good friend. We always have a blast when we see each other in Vegas. He always wins on the card tables. I do not. But that's all right. I'd rather see a friend win any day than myself. My good buddy here, B. Brian Blair. What's up, Bri?
You gotta be Brian Shakespeare. I'll tell you what. Man, you're the man of the hour. You're the man that's too sweet to be sour. I'll tell you what. The Shankster is all that and then some.
Oh, I love it.
And it's an honor for me, totally humbly, to just say that I am on your show. And I thank all the listeners that are listening right now, because without you, I would not be on your show.
That's very nice of you to say, buddy. I appreciate those words, and that always means a lot to me when you say that. And that comes from the heart, because you and I are good friends, and we have been for quite a while here. And it's always an honor seeing you. I know as soon as I get to Vegas, you're the first person I call. I'm like, hey, Brian, where are you at, man? What's going on here? And you say, I'm going to be down here in a minute or two. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And we always get together. We have a few beers together. We laugh. We talk. We joke. We try to win some money when we can. All the beautiful ladies are always watching us. You know what I'm saying? It's all good.
I'll never forget when
You broke up there, buddy. You're there?
Yeah, I said I'll never forget when you took me to 3-card poker.
Oh, yeah. How about that's a great story. I tell that quite a bit. In Las Vegas, Nevada, B. Brian Blair, I'm sitting down at a 3-card poker table. Brian comes over. I got a seat next to me. He says, hey, what's up, Shank? I'm like, hey, not much. I said, sit on down. He goes, how do you play this game? And I kind of gave you a really quick hand on it and everything else. And the guy draws a straight flush in his first hand ever of 3-card poker. And I looked at him because he held up his cards. He showed them me, and I'm like going, holy crap, man. I says, bet on this. Stay in. You've got some good money coming your way. I can't remember what you won that hand. It was like 200 and something bucks, wasn't it? $300? I don't remember what it was.
No, it was $887.
Was it $880? Oh, my God.
$887, and I only put $1 like a cheapskate on the other.
Yeah.
I think I bet like $20 on my hand.
Yeah.
And I put $1 on that progressive thing.
Yep.
And that's what I won.
Yep. Yeah.
And, well, actually, I won, but I didn't win the maximum. If it would have been spades, I would have won like, I don't know, $27,000.
It was,
but because it was hearts, and I have a picture of it on my phone right now. It was hearts.
That's hilarious.
And so I got like an extra, I don't know, $300, $500. It was a good. I'm not complaining, because anytime you win in Vegas, period.
Yeah.
If you can break even, you win. But honestly, I appreciated that, and I think I threw you a few bucks, and we had a good night.
Oh, yeah, we had a lot of fun, man. We always do. Like I said, Las Vegas, Nevada, you can't go wrong. But when you're there for the Cauliflower Alley Club, the great people like Morgan Dollar and Carl Lahr and all these guys who put so much into it and really dedicate themselves to making this a great thing. And, the thing is that It's a brother and sisterhood of everything professional wrestling. We celebrate the past, the present, the future of wrestling. You're there every year, and I know you love being there because it's not even just about just being there and, hey, look here, I'm here. It's about being there for the fans who've watched you. I mean, you and I were playing on the slot together. I must have had about 25, 30 people come up to you within an hour, asking you to sign cards and pictures and figures and stuff like that. And you're always very accommodating. You're always very nice to them and whatever else. And that's what it's all about. And, the CAC is about that. It's about giving back to the fans who have been there and watched, and not only that, but all the other wrestlers who were there to see each other. Some of these guys haven't seen each other for 20, 30 years. When Ivan Koloff was there last year and he won the Iron Mike Award, he was just astounded by seeing Jimmy Valiant, who he had great matches with back in Jim Crockett Promotions, and some of the guys that he saw back in the years, and he was just like, this is amazing, this is so cool. And I know you think that every single year as well.
Well, the thing that a lot of people don't realize, everything you said is right on the money, Brian, but a thing that I'm on the board now, the board of directors, and
that's right.
I didn't realize how much the CAC, the Cauliflower Alley Club, and you can go to caulifloweralleyclub.org,
yep,
and for $25 you can join the Cauliflower Alley Club, and all the proceeds go to wrestlers that have wrestled in this business for a certain number of years,
yep,
and it's very, very accounted for. There's not even 10 cents that goes to anything other than helping wrestlers in need.
That's right.
And it's the state's 501c3 charity in the world. It happens to be, the CAC happens to be the largest wrestling body in the entire globe.
Mm-hmm.
There's over 8,000 members. There are usually 1,000 people, 800 to 1,000. And, it's a great time. You'll have like 300 wrestlers, 500 fans or whatever. I think my percentage is pretty close. But it's a blast, and when you go there, you're doing something for somebody that you either that made you happy in some kind of way. So even if you don't go to the Cauliflower Alley Club, which I urge you to go to, because like Brian said, it's a blast.
Yes.
It's my number one fun thing that I look forward to each and every year. And next year it'll be in April. It'll be the 50th anniversary. But obviously this year I'll be there this Sunday. It starts. It's the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of June.
Yep.
It'll be a great time. And I'll let you from here.
Well, the thing is, too, Brian, we're talking to B. Brian Blair, one of the greatest wrestlers, from Florida and the WWE, and you've been all over the place on this globe, and after that, Herb Abrams, UWF. We'll not talk too much about that. But anyway, there was so many great things that you've done inside this wrestling business. Now, giving back some of your time to just keep this going and keeping it what it is. And what it is it's a great thing for every wrestling fan to be a part of, because when you go there, there's memorabilia, there's pictures on the wall, there's old stuff that maybe some of the wrestlers I remember that name, but then you see the picture and you're like, oh yeah, and then you hear people talking about stories, people like Nick Bockwinkel always walking around, Bob Kelly and everything else, and all these guys, and some of the people that we awarded last year, the Russian Bear Ivan Koloff, the late great Bill Moody, who was Percy Pringle / Paul Bearer. And I remember when we first saw Bill there back in 2012, you and I, you're like, Shanks, have you ever met Bill before? I'm like, no. Or you said Percy, because you always called him Percy. You're like, you ever met Percy? I'm like, no, I never have. He's like, come on, let me introduce you to him. And I was like, oh, that's cool, because, watched the guy for so many years. And, it was just like, you haven't seen each other for so long, you and him, but bam, it was like right there, and you're going at it, you're talking, you're reminiscing and everything else. And that's what's so special about this event, because even not even the wrestlers, some of the fans and people like me who do things, journalistic-wise, whatever else, we start seeing people, too, that we haven't seen in a while, and it's just a great thing. And you and I became friends through it, and I'm honored to see you every year, and I know you're going to be doing a ton of things there for this. And what is the biggest thing that you really enjoy flat out about the CAC?
Well, I usually enjoy wrestling. There's matches there, and I wrestle every year. I'm not going to wrestle this year. I've got seminars to do. I've got a lot of stuff to do, being on the board. I may wrestle. It just depends. I may jump at the battle red. I would say my favorite thing to do is to talk to the fans and my friends. You know, it's just a friends and reunion. Without a doubt, that's without a doubt my favorite thing to do.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it shows because, like I said, when you're walking around, you know, through the hotel, and people recognize you right away, and they come up, ask for pictures, shake your hand, talk about something, and you show them all your battle scars on your hand where the glass went through, and you talk about, you know, very openly about some of the wounds and some of the battle scars and blood, sweat, and tears, literally, that you went through in this business. And that's what it's all about at the CAC, and I can't wait to be there. There's going to be some fantastic seminars this year, and I want to talk a little bit about some of the individuals who will be honored by the CAC this year. I want to kind of run down these awards really quickly here. The Golden Ear Award, that'll be announced later on this month. The Red Bastine Friendship Award, John Arthur Lowe. The Jason Sanderson Humanitarian Award, Sean Dunster, the Future Legend Award will be announced later on. The Ladies Retired Wrestling Award, Debbie Peltier, I think is how she said her name. Isn't that right? Peltier, if I'm not mistaken. Peltier.
I believe. I don't know her.
Yeah, I don't know her either. I'm looking forward to meeting her, though. I really am, because, like I said, there's some people you don't know and you don't remember, but once you get to meet them again and talk to them, then you're like, oh, yeah, I do remember things. Cheerleader Melissa Anderson, she's going to be there getting the Ladies Wrestling Award. The Retired Men's Award goes to Buddha Khan. The Wrestling Award, I should say the Men's Wrestling Award, there's going to be 2 people accepting that. Scrap Iron Adam Pierce, my good buddy, who I helped get into this business, and I always appreciate when he talks about that. Dan Short Sleeve Sampson. The Trainers Award, this is the first ever award for this. Ron Hutchison, who helped Edge, helped Christian, helped some of the females like Mickey James and all these other greats out there. The Lifetime Achievement Award for the Luthez Award goes to Michael P.S. Hayes, who we had on the air just a couple days ago. And last week we had Terry Taylor on the phone. He's getting the Iron Mike Mazurki Award. This is a hell of a class. I mean, there's some guys here who would never have been to the CAC like Michael Hayes and Terry Taylor. They're going to be there for the first time getting an award, and I do hope that they continue on and be there again next year and the years to come. That's a great thing.
Absolutely, and you know, I've been around the world with those 2 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Had some great times with both Michael and Terry. You know, that was I was telling him Rooster, but Terry Taylor is a fat back. Michael Hayes, he's a guy that very pretty monster. Was back.
Hey Brian, you're breaking up just a tad bit, buddy. Can you try again there? You broke off there about when you said Terry Taylor. Maybe you're in a bad spot. You just broke off a little bit there. You kind of faded there when you were talking about Terry Taylor. You want to just back up a bit and re-say that again, please?
Yeah, Terry's an awesome guy. Call him Red Rooster.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better on the speaker. Red Rooster. Of course, I wrestled Terry many times. You know, I've been around the globe with these guys. I've had more fun with Michael Hayes, more laughs than you can even imagine, you know, with Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts.
Oh, yeah.
With the fabulous Freebirds. I mean, the stories we could tell are just off the charts. And I'm not going to say them on radio. You got to come to the CAC and hear them and ask them.
Yeah, boy, I like that. See, a little bit of a teaser there, you know. You're only going to get a little taste. This is like a trailer here. This ain't going to be everything you say. And it's fun, too, because the one thing I noticed, too, is like when you guys get together and stuff and some of the wrestlers, I know a lot of the fans and maybe even some of the other wrestlers and whatnot, they stand by and they just listen. And it's okay because we're in a public forum. It's like if you don't want anybody to hear anything, you're gonna whisper in their ear and tell them things. But it's kind of fun to hear all the stories being told, you know, right out in the open, and just having the reactions of the fans and the people who are there. And that's what it's all about. There's really no holds barred to this thing. It's just go out, have a good time. And if you guys have not had a chance to do this, hopefully next year it's going to be the big 50th reunion. That's huge. So make sure you get onto that one, and always go to caulifloweralleyclub.org, like my good buddy here on the board of directors, B. Brian Blair, mentioned, and check it out because you definitely want to be a part of this. And I can't wait to see you, Brian. It's going to be so much fun, man. I'm just ecstatic. I can't wait.
Oh, we're going to have a blast. I tell you what, I've got a bunch of people from our Legends Lunch that is happening tomorrow afternoon. We're going to honor the Blanco family.
Oh, right on.
Something Disco and I started years and years ago with Gordon Soley and, of course, with Hiro Matsuda. And it just grew from there and blossomed, and we'll have probably 50 wrestlers there tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
And it'll be a good time. And, you know, Gerald Briscoe, Jack's brother Gerald, he'll be at the
Oh, that's tremendous.
There'll be actually 10 guys that Vince personally sends there. And just hats off to the WWE for supporting the Cauliflower Alley Club the way they do.
Yes.
Not only to the Cauliflower Alley Club talent at their environment, take care of their food and stuff, they're also there for the Cauliflower Alley Club for anything extra.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, you're breaking up a little bit too, buddy. I don't know if it's the phone or whatever you got there, but we're pressing the clock anyway here. We got to get moving. But listen, I just want to say I appreciate you jumping in, joining us this week, and talking about the CAC and all the great events and all the great happenings that are going to be taking place at the Cauliflower Alley Club this week, coming up at the Gold Coast Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. I can't wait to see you, man. I know we're going to have a lot of good times. We're going to have a few beers together. Hopefully, win some more money. And not to sound selfish, but it'd be nice if I was on the receiving end of $800 this time. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. What I'm going to do, Brian, because you sound a little bit tired, but if I'm breaking up, I don't know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cruise on down I-75 a little bit south to Bradenton, and I'm going to stop at Hazel's Honey Hut so I can pick up a quart of orange blossom special just for you, brother.
Oh.
Because when you chug that orange blossom special, you get ready. I'm telling you, get really ready because your toes start tapping and your jaw that, and I know you like that, but more importantly, your wings start flapping and you get ready for some cracking. And that's what we're going to do with the CAC. And I look forward to seeing you, brother, and you keep hanging tight and do it with all your might. Because, Brian, the Shankster, I will see you in 2-3 days.
You got it, man. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I'll give you a buzz as soon as I get there, and we'll start causing some havoc and hopefully get kicked out of the place. All right, Brian, you take care, man. I appreciate it. Have a good time tonight with your wife and just enjoy yourselves. And it's an honor to have you here, and I'll see you next week for sure. Okay, buddy?
You too, brother.
All right, buddy. Take care. All right, my good friend there, B. Brian Blair. He's going to be part of this fantastic event, the CAC, coming up next week. And, if you're thinking about going, you may be able to get in. You may be able to get a ticket or so, and you have to get on out there. I mean, here's the thing, though. If you're going to come there and just, wander around and everything else, you won't be invited to the Baloney Blowout, which is tremendous. You won't be invited to the awards dinner. You got to have a badge to get in. You have to be a member. And you got to remember, sometimes some of the wrestlers, some of the people, some of the people out there are, wanting to, see that you're a member, see that you're actually part of something. And that's the thing. I mean, if you want to be a part of the CAC, go out there and throw down the money you're supposed to, because like Brian said a moment ago there, this is all going to a tremendous cause. It's helping the wrestlers who may not be able to help themselves right now for one reason or another, due to financial situations or whatever else and things like that. And that's important. It's about giving back. These gentlemen and ladies who have put their butts on the line for our entertainment for all these years have really made such an impact for so many of us as wrestling fans. And it's tremendous to think and see what they have become, and that is by being there anytime they can and just giving back, talking, reminiscing, telling stories, shaking hands, signing autographs, taking pictures, whatever it is. They've always been a part of that. And that's something that the CAC is all about. Like we said, we celebrate the past, the present, the future, and it's all here in Las Vegas, Nevada. So check out caulifloweralleyclub.org. If you can still get a chance to, get out there, that'd be cool. Otherwise, make sure you check out all the information. We have a special report next week right here, and we'll talk all about it every Thursday night. Don't forget, on KQCK.com, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, Off the Top Rope Radio comes your way. We appreciate you listening. Thank you to Doug McDonald from WrestlingRumors.net talking about the Payback pay-per-view this coming Sunday at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois. Actually, it's Rosemont, but we say Chicago, whatever. And also, don't forget, I want to thank my good buddy Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for joining us, and B. Brian Blair, who had some nice words to say about everything out there. So everybody take care. Have a nice weekend. Hopefully we'll see you at the matches and at the caulifloweralleyclub.org. We'll see you soon, buddy. Take good care. Rock on.
Tired of constantly letting your dog outside? Give yourself and your dog the freedom of a pet door from More Pet Supply.
Thank you once again, wrestling fans, for listening to today's show. We would love to hear from you away from the airwaves, so we invite you to like our Facebook page at Off the Top Rope Radio. And any emails you want to send, please send them directly to me at Brian, B-R-I-A-N, at KQCKradio.com. We'll talk to you next week right here on KQCK Radio, USA, Costa Rica.